Hey guys, yeah, this is kind of rare, isn't it? A Monday Night Raw review. And to be honest with you, it's the first time I've watched Raw fully in quite some time. I've usually followed what's going on Raw and SmackDown through the clips on WWE's YouTube page, along with NXT and even NXT UK now, which is going to be NXT Europe. I usually try to keep tabs like that. But tonight I felt like, okay, I want to watch this because here on the West Coast, we don't get it live. We don't get it, as soon as it happens because they were in Toronto. I think Toronto was on the East Coast, I believe. So yeah, that would have been like 5 o'clock our time. But here's the thing: the way the time zones work around here, unless it's the channel, the network itself that decides to go in this direction, usually any show like a wrestling show will be on tape delay. That's what it will be, unless it's a pay-per-view. Unless it's a pay-per-view, then it will be live. Basically, it'll come on at the same time everybody else does. But as far as like Raw and SmackDown goes, they're usually pretty much 8 o'clock straight up, and that's it. Even if it's airing live elsewhere, it's 8 o'clock straight up. And I was able to pretty much decide to watch it tonight because of everything that was going down on Twitter. People were talking about it, but mostly the big surprise of all, the big surprise of them all was Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, made his return. And yeah, also the appeal of Edge taking on Damian Priest, and people were talking about how good that was and how some of the matches were good and everything, and the fact that even tonight we got the full return of the NXT version of Kevin Owens along with his Titantron and everything, and he was wearing his old NXT shirt that said KO. We got when I heard this was all happening, I was like, okay, I gotta look at this. And then of course you had the situation with Dexter Lumis kidnapping the Miz. I don't know how that's gonna fall through. Here's the thing: when we've seen these kidnapping angles, I don't think he's gonna get forward Miz, because what's funny is when he did the kidnapping and he was dragging him, down the stairs into a hallway. You could see it on the camera. Someone was in the back as soon as he went through the drapes. Somebody showed up right there. So we could assume that maybe from a television perspective, storyline perspective, it was a security guard, getting to him, and getting the Miz away from him and such. But if they do follow up on it tomorrow, next week, yeah, Miz is going to be freaked. They're going to have, basically it might be very similar to what they did with Theory, to where Miz is going to be like freaked out, like, look, I don't know what this guy wants and everything, but I don't want to mess with him. I don't want to deal with him, and if he's around, I'm not going to be, So we'll see what they do there. But like I said, we'll see what they do there. But overall, my thoughts on the entire show was it was good. It was really good. Like I said, everybody on Twitter was giving it praise and all that from top to bottom, and that pretty much was the deciding factor for me to check it out finally. And I swear to God here, I never went to my YouTube channel on my smart TV. Never once. I would lower the volume or I'd mute the volume during the commercials, but I never changed it. I kept it on, and I honestly thoroughly enjoyed what I saw. I really did. I thought the women's match to open up, well, actually the Trish opening it up was great. Her interaction with Bayley and Io Sky and Dakota Kai was good, and Bianca being in there was good, and then Alexa and Asuka coming out. I thought that was a good opening segment. Trish, be honest to God, I still have one of her posters packed away that I got in the magazine that I had with me when I lived in Kansas. She still looks good. She still looks good for her age. And the fact that, Toronto still loves her and everything was, it's obvious. But yeah, that's led us into the women's semifinal match in the tournament to crown new tag team champions. And it was decent. It was a decent match. Obviously, you could tell that, you know, the reason we're getting some of these matches the way they are, it's like some of these bookings the way we're getting them in this tournament, is to set up not just potential future like tag team title programs down the line, but also to set up individual feuds as well. I mean, the fact that they gave us, you know, Alexa and Dakota one-on-one, almost like from a storyline perspective, mirror images of each other, in a sense. I know people might say it's a strange comparison, but if you look at how the hair is colored both ways and how the dress, it's like, you know, there's something that Triple H and, you know, his crew can work with. And then, of course, Asuka and Io Sky. I mean, come on, seriously. That is a dream matchup just waiting to happen. And just getting these little tidbits here and there with each lady going at each other. You know, just getting little tidbits here and there. To me, you know, that's like, you know, just whetting the appetite. Just whetting your, just giving you a taste. Whetting your appetite to want more. And I think eventually we're going to get it. I think eventually we're going to get it. I mean, obviously what's going to happen here, if what people are predicting to be true, is Io and Dakota are going to win the tournament. That's what people are predicting. And the first feud's going to be with Alexa and Asuka. The first feud will be against them. And, you know, I think it'll be a really, really fun program to work with, because you can do, you know, individual matches. You know, one thing about Triple H running things now is he's not going to do the, okay, let's have the champions lose to the challengers and then do a title match. No, he's going to have it done differently. He's going to be like, okay, Asuka takes on Dakota, Alexa takes on Io takes on Asuka, Dakota takes on Alexa. You know, kind of build it up in these individual matches, so that when you get to the tag match, it'll make it more worth it, because you can kind of go back and forth. Like, okay, Asuka got to win over Dakota. Io got to win over Alexa. Dakota got to win over... Alexa got to win over Dakota. Asuka got to win over Io. You know, kind of build back and forth, so that when you do the tag match, it'll make people wonder, okay, who's going to be the weak link out of one of the teams that's going to cost them the match. That's one way of doing it. But yeah, the match was all right. The match was good. There is no getting around it. The match was good, and in the end, the right team went over for the time. They had a what else did they? Oh yeah, they had Dolph Ziggler against Finn Balor. Great match. Guys are two of the best technical, high-flying wrestlers right now in the company, if not in wrestling, period. Dolph, you know, he's been around for like 12 years now, you know, as Dolph Ziggler. And if you want to count his time in the Spirit Squad, he's been around for, 16 years in total. So 12 years as Dolph Ziggler, 16 years in total. But yeah, he can still go. This guy could still go. And I don't know if maybe this is going to be his final run. Like, maybe they're going to let him have one last run at the top, and that's why he's doing all this. You know, it's going to lead to a storyline of him getting that one last opportunity. We'll see. But yeah, him and Balor had a great matchup. Balor won thanks to interference from Rhea Ripley when she punched Dolph, and that was it. You know, Balor won, and of course that builds into the main event match later on. Then we had Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis do an Alpha Academy challenge, as well as tease the fact that they got a new member coming. Who that's going to be is totally up in the air. It could be Cameron Grimes. People are predicting it could be Cameron Grimes. Some are predicting it could be, let's say it could be Wes. It could be Wes of the former MSK. Could be Wes. Or it could be that guy, that the Olympian that they signed. Who knows? It could be anybody, but I think the most likely names to be in that consideration could be Grimes or Wes, in my opinion. But they did an open challenge for Chad, and out came Kevin Owens. And like I said, Kevin Owens came out, with his old NXT Titantron playing in the old NXT garb, and him and Chad had a great match. I think Alex said on Twitter that this is as close as we've gotten of an NXT match on Raw in a long time, and it was good. It was really good. Both men had gave as they got, and in the end, Kevin Owens won with the pop-up powerbomb. Then Otis tried to attack him from behind. That backfired. He got stunned. Then Chad tried to come in, take advantage. He got caught and powerbombed onto Otis, and that was that. Kevin Owens was over in this crowd. With this crowd, of course, it was Toronto, Canada, but he was over with the crowd. And yeah. So yeah, it was a decent match. Then we had a backstage segment with Aaliyah from SmackDown, because she's teaming with Raquel Rodriguez or Gonzalez, whatever you want to call her. They're in the semifinals. They get confronted by Bayley and her Dakota and Io. This, of course, leads to Trish showing up and Aaliyah challenging Bayley to a match, because Bayley hasn't had a match since she's been back. She's doing all this talk but no walk. So we ended up getting that match. But before then, what else did we get? Before then, let me see. What else did we get? I think we got something else. I was trying to think. I'm trying to think. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. After that, I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything here. So, let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, they began Raw. I didn't talk about this because I only saw it on the internet, online, but they did recap it. Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle had a brawl that started off right at the beginning of Raw, right when they were doing the pyro. They had a brawl, and that got broken up. But it went all over. It went from the back area, the gorilla position area, to outside, to ringside, to in the crowd, up the stairs, if you will. So yeah, they did all that. Then let's see. Oh yeah, then we had the match between Bayley and Aaliyah, and but yeah, getting back to the present, because that was the beginning of Raw. But getting back to the present, the next match after the Alpha Academy thing, our challenge was, of course, Aaliyah and Bayley. And I know people have the criticisms about the match. I thought it was okay. Aaliyah's still learning, and she did do some moves as a tribute to Trish. And I think honestly, just the fact that she did the Stratisfaction Bulldog on the outside on Bayley, and the way she was, kind of like acting, or not acting, but wrestling, if you will. It definitely, to me, looks like WWE views her, mostly Triple H, and Stephanie may view her as this generation's Trish Stratus. So I'm not going to be surprised if down the line, Aaliyah's going to get a program to where she ends up being built up to be the next Trish Stratus in the WWE, under the Triple H regime. Because that's how it felt like they were positioning her here and going into the match with Bayley, and then of course the semifinals this Friday for the tag team tournament. Then we had the tag team match. Speaking of tag teams, we had AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley against The Miz and Tommaso Ciampa. It was a good match. AJ and Bobby make a good team. Miz and Ciampa, they're growing on us. AJ, right at the beginning, is he and Ciampa going back and forth because they're the first ones to start the match. They're doing going back and forth. And after AJ kind of does the leapfrog, if you will, and then the lowdown, he ends up hitting us because Ciampa's coming off the ropes. He ends up hitting a beautiful picture perfect drop kick, like that. You could just hear it. And Corey Graves' reaction, I think, was spot on. Like, ooh, he was like, oh baby, because you could just hear that, and it looked like Ciampa lost a tooth or something. But yeah, this was a good match until we got to the ending, where you had some kind of person wearing a hoodie trying to grab at AJ, and it looked like somebody, I don't know who it looked like. It could have been just a local talent, but this was enough to distract AJ and even distract The Miz, who actually put a boot up against AJ as AJ was coming after him. But as he did it, we had one of the Riot Squad guys stand up, turn around, take off his helmet, and it's Dexter Lumis. And he ends up grabbing The Miz and kidnapping him, basically dragging him all the way to the back area. And again, like I said, you saw somebody in the back there, obviously with a stage handler, but obviously it had to be maybe security. They'll play it off that, probably got The Miz freed or something. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll follow through on it. I'll tell you this, if it's a storyline to where, this whole thing with Dexter Lumis is all Miz's idea, like maybe Miz is creating his own group to get him back to the top, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised because it is something new and different for The Miz to lead his own little faction that you don't even know about just yet. You don't even know who they are. I mean, you know one of them, but you don't know who the rest could be, just so he can get back to the top. That to me would be interesting. That would be an interesting scenario that they might go with, but we'll see. We'll see what they do here. Because it's kind of weird why Lumis is trying to kidnap AJ and Miz. Why he's targeting both of them, I don't know. But it's going to be, it'll be, interesting to tune in and find out next week, or even this Friday, or even tomorrow night on NXT, to see exactly where this is leading. My assumption is maybe this is a storyline where Miz has set up this whole thing just so he can have his own group to watch his back. Who knows? Somebody even joked on social media if maybe Triple H is trying to redo Retribution the right way. And maybe that's what's going on. We don't know. But we'll find out soon. After that, what did we have after that? Let's see. Oh yeah, after that we had the return of Johnny Gargano. Yeah. So they went to commercial. When they came back to commercial, you see the wide camera shot of the arena, and all of a sudden you hear Rebel Heart play. And everybody's just in shock. Everybody in the arena is like, what the, just in shock and everything. Everybody that's seen it was in shock. Even JD in his review said that he had just gotten back in time, just as the commercial ended to sit down after he got himself something to drink. Like, I got G Fuel right here. He ended up getting like an iced tea. And he basically sat down. He was just barely sitting down when it came back from commercial. And basically, all of a sudden, he hears Rebel Heart playing, and JD's like, what the fuck? He's like, what the blank? Even startling his cat because he can't believe what he's hearing. And out comes Johnny Gargano. He gets a massive reception. And people just are loving on him. They're happy to see him. He gets on the mic, says surprise and everything, kind of plays around with the fact that, okay, I haven't done this in a while. Do I hold the mic like this? Da da da. And he's just talking from the heart, basically, as to what's been going on with him, but also stating that he is now back in WWE, and that the reason he's doing it is so that he can send a message to his son, his newly born son, not to, give up on your dreams, and that you can do the impossible. Well, as soon as he started talking about, they're just getting started and everything, Austin Theory's music hits. And he comes out, and he's got this look on his face like he can't believe it, because in case you guys don't know, when they went NXT, and they do allude to it a little bit, he was part of a faction, a stable led by Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, known as The Way. And it consisted of himself, it consisted of Candice, and what the group consisted of was, of course, Johnny and Candice, Theory, Indy Hartwell, and Dexter Lumis, believe it or not. Yeah, Dexter Lumis was part of it. And it was pretty, and they do allude to that, and of course, Theory's, being full of himself, bragging about the fact that he's done everything that Johnny wants to do in just a short span. So to kind of play off the history, Theory's like, hey, let's just do it one more time for old time's sake. Let's do the way high five kind of deal. And instead of giving him the high five, because Theory's shouting, "Give it to me, Johnny! Give it to me!" Johnny ends up knocking his teeth down his throat with a super kick. And then Johnny's just like, after that, and goes like, maybe I... And as soon as he leaves the ring, he's going up the ramp and says, oh, maybe I don't want to do it that way, whatever. So it looks like setting up something for Johnny and Theory going into Clash at the Castle, because they need matches, besides just the ones we know about. They do need matches, and Theory against Gagano would be a good addition, and people would definitely say a banger. It would be to me, it would be a good way to start off Johnny's return. Honestly, with this kind of program, put him in there with somebody he has a history with from NXT, and then move him on to future opponents down the line. But then after that, we had the Edge and Damian Priest match. They said it was going to be with limited commercials. Well, technically it was, but it wasn't, because you had the picture-in-picture deal. And I muted it during the picture-in-picture. I still watched the match, but muted it. And boy, they love the commercials. It seems that these networks, TBS, TNT, and USA, they love their commercials when it comes to wrestling. Anyway, the match was good. The match was really good. These guys went back and forth. And the highlights for it was Edge doing a lot of high-flying moves, like his classic dive off the top rope to the outside. He did the execution, the pull back of the neck. Basically he pulls the opponent onto the by the chin down to the ground. He hit the impaler, the execution, if you will. He pulled out all the spots, and of course the spear he pulled out at the end. But what really surprised a lot of people, and he even used the South of Heaven sit out choke slam that Damian uses. But what really surprised a lot of people is what he pulled out before he hit the spear. He hit a freaking Canadian destroyer, and they acknowledged it as such. He hit a Canadian destroyer, and Corey Graves acknowledged it as such. He hit the spear, 1, 2, 3, wins the match. But as soon as he wins, out comes Rhea to low blow him. Finn comes out to hit him with the coup de grace. And they try to get ready to, take him out with the chair, with a concerto, because he was going to do the same to Damian, before they came out to stop him. Because Damian was even going to try to do it during the match, after the referee got knocked out. And then, like I said, after Edge won, he was going to hit Damian with the concerto. That's when Rhea and Finn came out and attacked him. And as soon as they were about to do it to him, over the guardrail jumps Beth Phoenix, who is at ringside in support of her husband. She grabs it. She grabs the chair, literally just yanks it away from Finn, gets in the ring, bangs the chair down on the mat, and she is looking, and Beth, she is looking directly at Rhea Ripley, like, come on, you want this, come on. And Rhea, it's like, Damian and Finn have to hold Rhea back, and because Rhea wants to go after her. So it looks like what they're doing here is they're setting up a match, just like they did earlier this year. It looks like we're getting another mixed tag match with Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor against Edge and Beth Phoenix. And if that's at Clash of the Castle, cool. If they want to wait till Extreme Rules, that's even better. But it looks like it might be a Clash of the Castle. We'll see. But yeah, everybody's like, hey, Beth versus Rhea, give it to us. We want it. Because you got two powerhouses going at it, and I think people just want to see if Beth could lift up Rhea into the Glam Slam and hit it on her. But overall, Raw after that, it went off the air, of course, with the babyfaces standing tall, and I thought it was good. Like I said, I thought it was good. It was, like I said, it's my first time watching a full episode of Raw in a long time. It went by really quick, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. And that's all I can really say. So let me know what your thoughts are, guys, down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear from each and every one of you on this. And until then, talk to y'all later.